Hello and welcome to Inside Magazine. I'm David Matlin. Well, in recent months, the world has faced the grim images of desperate shipwrecked migrants in the Mediterranean Sea. Day and night, European Coast Guards have been mobilized to try and save the lives of these men, women, and children who are fleeing war and famine that are ravaging Africa and the Middle East. In 2014, Italy alone rescued nearly 170,000 migrants, and most of them are still on Italian soil. Well, how are they surviving, and what hopes do they carry in their daily lives and for their future? We went to find out. Migrants after the shipwreck. A report by Jeremy Sok for I-24 News.
Come mare è bellissimo, c'è una costa che è meravigliosa, un golfo che...
A wonderful sea, a splendid coastline. The bay is everybody's dream. There, the beach, over there, the coastline. I don't know what to say. Whoever comes here falls in love. The sea is everything for us.
Per noi è tutto.
Ever since the news spread of these thousands of dead at sea, journalists from all over the world have arrived. Italy, Sicily, they cannot afford to absorb 1 million illegal migrants every year or every other year. It's impossible. It triggers too many problems for us, but also for them, because there's no work here. So how can they stay here? A sad situation, I must say, right now. It really is so. One needs to face it, but we can't forsake them.
These survivors, who were by chance rescued 64 kilometers off the Libyan shore, will be ushered to Camp Mineo, the biggest reception center for asylum seekers in Europe. The sunny landscape is typical of picturesque Sicily, but for some, clouds.
Actually, this road is on the outskirts of the camp. The parking lot already belongs to the camp, therefore you cannot stay here.
Located at the foot of the Mount Etna volcano, Catania is Sicily's major harbor, boasting 300,000 inhabitants. Established in antiquity, the city's always been at the crossroads of cultures, and waves of migrations have always been part of its history. Today, however, Catania's tolerance threshold is badly shaken. The actual reason is that behind the elegant facades, the economic situation of the city has collapsed, with unemployment rates skyrocketing above 25%. Without tourism and agriculture, Catania would not survive. Lately, the massive influx of migrants are scarier to Catania residents than any volcano's eruption. Out on the streets, however, many residents endeavor to remember Sicily's reputation, a home to refugees, first and foremost, and they don't mind making as much noise as possible.
Today we are standing here in this square because we are angry, because it's both unjust and unacceptable that Europe agrees to the death of 1,000 people in one single day.
On Piazza Stesicoro, leftist parties, humanitarian organizations, as well as the Anti-Racism League have gathered to express their solidarity with the migrants.
We Italians, we could also find ourselves in their place. It is unjust, especially when one recalls that our own grandparents also migrated to so many countries. They went to America and to Australia in order to find work. So, we have to help these poor people.
Sicily has always been a bridge between people. The wide majority of Sicilians are not racist. There are people who love other people.
This support helps migrants stand up. It also gives wings to some of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am sending this message to all Europeans. We are begging you and begging you and begging you again and again. to stand up and help the immigrants. We do have problems in our countries. For some of them, their life is in danger. That's why they cannot live there any longer. They need to flee and seek a place where they can find peace and build a future.
Just like the other Africans who are here with him, Lamine is young, very young. He just turned 18. Watching their juvenile faces, one can hardly imagine what they've been through. Today, their struggle for life goes on.
No border, no nation, stop deportation!
Egalitarian speech, internationalist doctrine, and disregard of frontiers. Although the slogans represent a certain type of leftist ideology, the Catania residents who came as sheer spectators are not very far from thinking along the same lines.
I saw this boat landing at Catania harbor. There was a lot of noise. But when the boat docked at the quay, suddenly there was a frozen silence. Then I understood everything. I understood what it really means to lose your life, or a brother, or relatives at sea. These kids landed here after losing everything they had. And you know what I think? I think that our cheers, kisses, or hugs bring them comfort and aid. They need people's support. They need the support of simple people, so that they may understand that they do not stand alone, that they are our brothers.
A brotherly hand. This is mostly what Catania residents can offer despite their own poverty. Tonight, Lamine is going back home feeling that for once he's been heard. Lamine Bojang agreed to tell us his story. From his native Gambia, it's here in Catania that he first set foot on European soil. Till today, he'd never come back to the harbor.
I came from the sea, from over there. When I came to Italy, to Catania, I was 17 years old, just a kid. I was really a boy. I was among the 10 youngest on the boat.
What does it mean for you to be here?
It reminds me the moment I arrived here and I felt such a huge happiness, just because I was alive. During the journey at sea, we all thought that we were going to die. And no, we did not. We arrived safe and sound in Italy. That day, I was so happy.
When he was 16, Lamine ran away from Yahya Jammeh's dictatorship that exploited his family of village people whose resources and profits had been confiscated by the state.
From
Gambia, I traveled to Senegal, and I stayed there for 3 weeks with acquaintances. They helped me save enough money to pursue my journey towards Mali.
Some capital to continue my journey to Mali. Where I go, Mali,
I have a friend who lives there with his wife. I stayed with them for 3 months. When they went on errands, I would go with them and help them. I would do all kinds of chores at home, helping the family. Then after 3 months, I told them that I wished to carry on with my journey. They helped me financially so that I could reach Burkina Faso. There, I stayed 3 months. I did not know a soul. For the first time, I had to sleep on the roadsides. I was lonely.
I don't know anybody, so I was there, so I tried to do some small works.
I looked for petty jobs. I went to the market and started selling blocks of ice and water. I did it for 3 months. I saved a little money that I added to the previous savings, and this allowed me to leave for Nigeria.
To continue my journey from Burkina Faso to Niger. So I was in Niger for 3 months. In Niger, I don't know, the first time I reached there also,
I stayed in Nigeria for 3 months. I didn't know a soul there either. I slept on the roadsides for 3 weeks. I would go to the town markets to look for jobs. A man hired me. He was a cook, and he used to sell cooking at a restaurant. I told him all my problems, and he took me under his wing, financing my journey from Nigeria to Libya.
From Niger to Libya.
In Libya, the first day I got there, they threw me in jail because the driver who took us to Libya had exploited us. Human trafficking. In prison, they beat you as soon as you wake up. They force you to telephone your relatives and ask them to send money for your freedom. If you decline, or if the money does not come, they keep on beating you. I met there people who had been in jail for 10 months. I was in jail for 1 month.
For 1 month.
At night, there was only one guard. He used to stay there until late at night. One night, when he opened the door of the prison, everybody rushed out. Some succeeded to run away, others did not.
Escape from there.
In Libya, I used to go to the market very early in the morning. When people were doing their errands, I used to help them carry their loads to their houses on a wheelbarrow. And they paid me for it. Sometimes people invited me home and I would do the house cleaning or wash their cars or any other little chores. Sometimes I worked and people did not even pay me. And if you insist, they send you away, pretending they have no money. You're scared, but you cannot do anything, because if you start arguing, they may kill you. There are no rules over there, you know. People get used to be scared. I did not feel safe in Libya, because every day they kill people there.
That's the moment Lamine chose to leave Libya. However, in order to reach Italy, he had to take the highest risk, cross 200 kilometers at sea on an overcrowded boat. He'll pay 350 euros for the trip, quite a fortune for him.
The boat was not that big. It was rubber-made, maybe 5 meters long. The Arabs used to make a selection, and they would embark as many people as they wanted. If you decline to board the boat, or if you complain that it's too crowded, they force you to comply. And if you say no, they beat you or bring you back to jail.
After 3 days at sea together with about 100 other migrants, Lamine will be rescued by Italian Coast Guards. He's been traumatized for life.
I'm scared of the sea, you know. So many people died at sea. I don't feel safe there anymore.
Because of this experience, he admits that he does not bathe in the waves anymore. But the sea is behind him now. His main objective is to advance far into the land of Europe. Lamine has been quite miraculously lucky. That was not the case for many migrants. In Catania's vast cemetery, the Sicilians have made room among their own dead for the migrants who died at sea on May 12th in the shipwreck. A memorial was erected in the middle of 17 graves, as many as the number of corpses that were retrieved from the sea. Among them stand 2 smaller tombs in memory of the children. Since this tragedy, Italian Coast Guards are allowed to approach the Libyan coast so that they can rescue migrants before their boats sink. The Catania Coast Guards are welcoming us aboard one of the ships that helped save the life of thousands of people. Commandant Maltese is welcoming us.
Our maritime survey, rescue, and aid activities just continue unchanged, but obviously it has become more thorough in the last few years due to the repeated issue of migrations from North African coasts. We definitely try to work as smoothly as possible, mostly because, and this is beyond our willingness, we were born, we grew up, we have been, and we will keep on being first and foremost rescuers. Therefore, our feelings, mine as well as those of my colleagues here, are, it's my job to risk my own life in order to save others' lives. That's what we do. That's what we were born to accomplish, and that is our main motivation.
We meet again with Lamine. He's taking us home at the Regina Elena Center. It's a school whose one wing has been turned into a reception center for underage migrants. Lamine's been living here for the past 10 months, together with 70 African migrants of various nationalities.
There, up there, that's where I sleep. It's a classroom.
But as soon as we get there, the situation immediately becomes very tense.
Excuse me, you need to go further.
Go away, go away.
Why do you want to call the police?
These youth are underage. It is not possible to enter the facility and interview them.
We are not underage.
Would it be possible to just visit the rooms?
No,
Let's go up there.
They don't want people to go visit the rooms because some things may seem embarrassing. If you'd go upstairs, you'd see very dilapidated rooms. This open door there, it's the door of my room. We are 6 in the room. These people mistreat us because when we try to explain our problems, they don't want to listen. They say that we are not supposed to be here.
We take the opportunity when the center's employees suddenly leave to go upstairs to the rooms. We discover a building that's far from the horrific state described by Lamine.
Let's go visit the rooms. Come on, quick, quick.
However, our visit is unexpectedly interrupted. Lamine cannot hide his anger and his disappointment. The social worker points out Lamine's outburst of aggressiveness, explaining that they often have to face such situations.
Do you see what's going on here?
As for Lamine, he can't stop being angry and insists on showing us the videos of the rooms that he filmed on his cell phone. The overall conditions at the center recall conditions at a boarding school. However, Lamine and his mates keep complaining about their environment. Tension is palpable. The authorities acknowledge the tension but decline mentioning it in front of the camera, an institution overwhelmed by heated youths who went through hell. For the moment, though, Lamine needs to face another emergency. He's just turned 18 and therefore needs to leave the center.
I just turned 18, so when I go up there to tell them about my problems with the identification documents, they tell me that I am not entitled to a lawyer or to a tutor now, and that I need to get along by myself. So now, I'm all on my own.
Lamine is totally lost in administrative steps. We follow him to the offices of Archie, an Italian NGO, caring for minorities' rights by providing Italian language classes and cultural activities. Margherita, a political sciences graduate, is welcoming him, a victim of a very slow bureaucracy, unprepared for the human disaster that it needs to deal with.
I have no one to talk to, and I don't know where to go in order to get my documents.
So you have to find a lawyer?
You need to find yourself a lawyer. If you want, at our NGO, Archie, we have a lawyer. He can help you resolve your problems. Unfortunately, bureaucracy is slow, very slow, and you are the victim.
You are just a victim of this.
Margherita sheds light on the revolt of these young boys when we attend the reception center.
La legge dice che entro I primi 3 mesi gli immigrati dovrebbero
According to the law, during the first months, each migrant should face a commission charged with checking their rights for applying for the status of refugee. In fact, due to the lack of territorial commissions able to set this kind of interviews, the few commissions that exist are overworked. Thus, procedures become terribly long and migrants stay at Camp Mineo for a long period, which may even last 2 years. Those who are in such a situation fall back into a state of uncertainty and paralysis that triggers a thorough dysfunction, as their feelings of being victim of racism and xenophobia increases.
Lamine leaves the offices somehow more hopeful. He'll come back to Archie to benefit from the help of a lawyer and to register for Italian classes. Back to Mineo, we're granted the right to visit the reception center. Under specific rules, though, to be escorted everywhere and to absolutely refrain from filming any interview with the center's residents and from entering the pavilions. From the inside, Camp Mineo looks just like any suburban pavilion's neighborhood. Streets are clean and houses well maintained. The co-director, Ivana, is leading the visit.
Let's go visit the school. Actually, in these buildings, we operate an elementary school. Mondays to Fridays from 8 to 1:30. This is what you see here. The second building is divided into two. One part is devoted to learning Italian, and another one is an indoor playground for children.
There are also a health center operated by the Italian Red Cross, classrooms for computer courses, a vocational trainings opportunities search room, and a wide football field. Ivana takes us to the office of the director, Sebastiano Maccaroni.
Camp Mineo is the best. This camp is great. Everything is fine here.
Yet Italian reception centers are regularly the object of various critics, being often compared to open-air prisons.
I do not believe that the migrants who are here live like in jail. The camp is open, one can go out. Our bus drives them to Catania. We offer them food, a place to live, health services. €2.50 a day as pocket money. Projects of social absorption. A school to learn Italian. So the term prison is not appropriate. It's been exploited by some politicians, and I'd rather not respond.
Sebastiano Maccaroni is a bank teller. He founded the center 4 years ago and still volunteers here. This photo was taken at Lampedusa in 2007, where he established the first reception center for asylum seekers. Obviously, he's quite proud of it, but this does not prevent him from being clear-headed regarding the progress that still needs to be made.
There are too many people. Too many people who ran away from war, famine, despair. Sicily has always been a home for refugees. There should be one common law on political asylum seeking and international protection that should be available for all Europe. My wish is that in the future, these kind of centers will stop absorbing new immigrants, and we will not need to open any more centers like this.
Camp Mineo is reaching the limits of its capacity, as is Italy. The camp is sinking under the ever-growing number of migrants. Despite the presence of this camp here in the middle of the Sicilian plains, the tranquility of rural tradition seems undisturbed. Last meeting with Lamin in the streets of Catania's city center. 10 months after his arrival, he shares with us the strangeness that he keeps feeling here.
It's a pretty city. I had never visited such a place before, but it doesn't feel like home. Some people are very kind to me, saying hello in the street, but others run away from when they see me. They think that I am some kind of criminal, only because I'm black. I have relatives who stayed back home. I must help them. They are my kin. My mother is over there. She has many children and no job. I also need to find a way to help her, to feed my family. Maybe I could be happy if I find a decent job or if I can study. A man may be free, but if he's not entitled to do anything, he cannot be happy. And I long for my family.
Away from home and having to face a rather difficult daily life, Lamin, however, managed to fall back onto his childhood love, football. As every week, he meets his football playmates, a fun and relaxing break for all these barely grown-up youngsters.
Lamin is a great football player. He's midfielder.
Is he one of your best players?
Almost, yeah.
He's my friend. His name is Abu Sawo. We were on the same boat from Libya to Italy, then at the same camp and in the same house. Everything we did together.
We are like brothers now.
We've been together for so long. We're just like brothers, like kin. He's a great friend.
He's one of a kind.
I really like him, and I'm glad that I met him.
I'm glad to have known him.
Adapt, survive, and withstand the unbearable anxiety of not knowing when it will end. Of his journey at sea, Lamine will always keep a scar on a spot of his skin scalded by the boat's engine on which he had to sit during the entire journey. Sometime after this coverage, Lamine got good news. In 5 months' time, he'll be granted a 2-year residence permit. He'll be able to work, move more freely, and study. His dream? Becoming a professional football player in a European club. But this time as a sweeper. Kilometers from Catania at Augusta Harbor, 340 migrants have just been rescued. Time and again, the same rite. The same anonymous faces, exhausted or even burnt out. Still, some find enough strength to smile. These women dressed in light, colorful outfits, but they hide quite dark memories. Many a woman became pregnant after being raped in Libyan jails. The marks of horror and hope despite everything. Like a litany that draws on shore again and again, questions without answers. Are you okay?
I don't feel well. My head hurts.
I feel good. I am so happy, because I am in Italy. I am so happy.
Now in the studio by Jeremy Sok, the filmmaker. Thank you for bringing us this story, first of all, Jeremy. A story that's captivating the world, definitely gotten everyone's attention this year as the numbers have gone up of these people coming over the sea. You were in Catania in Sicily now, a place where many of these migrants are being held, for lack of a better term. It's a refugee camp, but what struck you really when you entered this place and saw it?
The first thing I noticed is sadness. Grief, of course, and also anger towards this situation, this tragedy, being powerless, you know. And, 17,000 migrants already arrived this year, since January, and they expect 500,000 more. So, you know,
What do you think, after seeing this, what do you think about the political solutions that have been thrown around? Or is there potential for a true solution to this politically?
It's hard to answer this question. But and after this tragedy where 800 migrants died in sea, Ban Ki-moon, the president of the UN, came in Sicily, and he promised to triple the budget of Triton, the operation in sea. Also to increase the capacity to welcome these migrants, but I don't think it will change. It won't change the situation, to be honest.
Let's talk about these people themselves. I mean, they're coming from so many different countries, originating from so many places, and conflicts and problems. Indeed. What kind of frictions exist here now between these groups as you put them together there?
You know, like the Sicilians, they really welcome these people. sincerely, really, they've heart. And but more and more the situation becomes, more and more difficult. Financially, they're already poor, and the migrants themselves, they're waiting for their papers, so it creates this tension, and I think what we fear is the...
so as the numbers grow, the phenomenon continues. Obviously, the frictions are only going to go up.
Exactly, is the rise of xenophobia and racism.
That's right. Jeremy, thank you very much for bringing us this incredible and contemporary story here ongoing as we speak. Jeremy Sok, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
And thank you for being with us here at Insight. I'm David Matlin. We'll see you again next week.